So what the heck does a competitive powerlifter eat on a daily basis? There is a common misconception out there that powerlifters eat a bunch of junk food so they can put on a bunch of body weight so they can go in the gym and pick up max weight. Some people choose to go that route. I don't recommend it though. Competitive powerlifters that are at the elite level, just like any other athlete, is going to have a very well thought out planned nutrition program that's going to have a focus on good quality nutrient dense foods in order to improve performance in the gym, increase strength, and help to maintain a healthy body composition. So today what I'm going to do is walk you through exactly what I eat on a daily basis that are going to help me achieve those three objectives. So it's about 6:45 on a Friday morning right now. I've been up for about an hour and a half or so. And one of the very first things that I do in the morning is drink my coffee. Huge coffee fan. It is the only caffeine source that I use. I don't take any type of pre-workouts, don't drink tea or anything like that. I do drink my coffee black, but my first cup in the morning, I do add 2 supplements to it. And the first one is going to be a collagen peptide. So I put 1 scoop of this. It does not have any flavor to it. The texture just dissolves, so it doesn't add any texture to the coffee at all. But collagen peptides are great for joint support and joint health. As competitive strength athletes, we put our joints under an immense amount of stress, so it's really important that we're maintaining the health of our joints. The second thing that I add in is a scoop of creatine, so that equates to 5 grams. With creatine, this helps to improve your performance in the gym. So helps with endurance, helps to build strength, and helps with energy levels through your training session. You can take this at any point during the day. You just really need to be consistent with it. So I throw it in something that I know I'm going to drink every single day. So that is what I do very first thing. I usually don't eat my first meal till 7:30, 8 o'clock. So by the time I wake up, have my coffee, in between my first meal, I'm usually giving my clients feedback on their lifts from the day before. So I'm gonna go do that, and then we are gonna get into meal 1. We are starting off with meal 1. So it's about 8 a.m. So this is about 2 hours or so after I've gotten up that I have my first meal. What I eat at what time is kind of dependent on my day. So I don't always eat the same meals at the same time of day. It just depends on where my training is going to fall during the day. So meal 1 today is going to be 100 grams of chicken, 100 grams of rice, and then I have some peppers and onions thrown in there, and then 1 egg for some healthy fat, full egg with the yolk. And at this point, I've drank about 32 ounces of water. In addition to being a powerlifting coach, I am also a cycle instructor, and I'll teach about 2 classes a day, Monday to Saturday. Today's actually a shorter day. I only have 1 class this morning and heading over to the cycle studio now. But on days where I do teach a lot, I do have to make sure that I'm eating some extra food to make up for the calories that I burn teaching classes. With cycle, the instructor typically does the bulk of the class along with everyone else. So I do burn a lot of calories and lose a lot of water. So I have to make sure that I am taking that into account when I'm planning out my food. But right now I've only had the first meal, which is going to hold me over till after my class. And then I will be eating a second meal after my class. So probably around 11:30 or 12. And that is also going to be my pre-lift meal as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after class. All right, friends. So we are back from the cycle studio. Classes are done for the day. It's about 12 o'clock and I'm going to be eating meal 2. And today meal 2 is also going to be my pre-lift meal. So I'm going to be lifting around 1:30, 1:45 today. Going to be hitting a bench training session. And I do not like to eat very close to the time that I'm going to train. I do not like the feeling of feeling full when I'm trying to work out. I don't like the feeling of food sitting in my stomach. So I like to give myself at least an hour and a half if I can, to allow that food to break down and digest. I also do not like a lot of carbs in my pre-lift meal, which sounds slightly counterintuitive, but I will explain how I get my carbs in just a second. But for meal 2, we are going to be having 100 grams of grilled chicken along with some veggies. I do not measure up my veggies. I just throw them in there. Honestly, no one ever really had weight issues or health issues from eating too many veggies, so I just toss them in. And then I also put some extra virgin olive oil. I drizzled it on top after I cooked it. That way I can get the full benefit of that healthy fat. So I'll be eating that here in a second. To get my carbs in, So you do need carbs for energy, especially if you're going to be hitting an intense training session. If you do not like to eat them, if you're like me and you don't like to eat your carbs pre-workout, I highly recommend doing a carb supplement. This is a giant tub of a carb supplement. You can get them a little bit smaller, but since I use it every day, I just buy the big one. With the carb supplements, you can mix them with any beverage. This one is unflavored, so I can mix it with just plain water, or I can throw it in with a BCAA or a EAA. Or if you do pre-workout, you can throw it in there as well. And one scoop of this one is 50 grams of carbs. And it's a very fast-acting carb that does not sit in your stomach for very long. So very fast-acting energy. Your body essentially processes it and utilizes it immediately. So I usually drink this on the way to the gym. That way I have that carb energy source for my training session. But I always like to keep a little bit in my gym bag as well, because like on a heavy squat session, for example, about halfway through, I might start to lose a little bit of energy. So you can quickly throw that in, shake it up in a shaker, and drink it about halfway through and get that quick burst of energy that you might need. So I'm going to eat this, get some client work done, and then we will talk about our post-workout meal. All right, I just finished my bench training session. Really good session today. Last week I was on a deload week. This week I am doing lighter weight, higher volume, but do not underestimate the intensity of lightweight. When you add volume to it, it can be very intense. Before we get into the actual food that I eat post lift, before I even get home, actually when I get in the car, I shake up a protein shake. So this is one of my favorites. This is Raw Nutrition. It's their vegan protein. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not sponsored by Raw. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I just genuinely really like their product and highly recommend it to anyone that I talk to. But surprisingly, their vegan protein tastes a lot better than the whey isolate, in my opinion. And with every other brand that I've tried, it's usually the complete opposite. But you can be the judge of that. Both of them taste really good. It's more of a texture thing for me on the vegan one. So I'll shake that up and drink that in the car on my way home. And then once I get home, I'm going to have my biggest meal of the day. And with my pre-lift meal, I said that I don't like a lot of carbs in my pre-lift. All the carbs in the post-lift. Love some carbs at the end. So this is going to be the biggest meal of the day with the most carbs. So 170 grams of jasmine rice. I have some peppers and onions kind of thrown in there for flavor. And then 120 grams of ground turkey. So I am going to spice this up with some salsa and some hot sauce to give it a little extra flavor. But your post-training meal should always be the biggest meal of the day and have the highest carb count. Your body's going to need that protein and that carb to replenish all the energy that it burned through your training session and help to repair those muscles as well. So I'm going to heat this up, eat this while I do a little bit of client work and wrap up my week. And then we will talk about the final meal of the day. We have made it to meal 4. It is about 7 o'clock on Friday. And for me, meal 4 is always going to be the smallest meal. It's not because it's my last one, it's just the furthest away from my training time. So I typically train in the morning, early afternoon, and I don't require as many calories later on in the day. So the bulk of my caloric intake is going to be centered around that training time. So meal 4 is going to be 100 grams of grilled chicken. I threw in some roasted asparagus, again, however much, I don't measure it at all. And then 100 grams of roasted red potatoes. And then, I also put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on there as well to get those healthy fats in. So I know that you guys are waiting for me to give you my total calorie intake and my macro breakdown. I'm not going to. I did list all of the measurements and all of the food that I eat. So if you want to go through and total all of that up, feel free. But the reason why I'm not going to share that information is I know someone's going to think it's the magic number, and it's not. Nutrition is so customized to the individual, and there's so many different variables that a coach needs to take into consideration when creating your meal plan that I can give you a number, it's just not going to be relevant. So if you would like more information about performance nutrition or to set up a nutrition plan of your own, you can click the join my program link and set up a consultation. And if you found this video helpful and you got value out of it, please subscribe, and I will be seeing you here soon.